or whether we abandon the American Revolution and confess that a little intellectual elite in a far distant capital can better plan our lives for us than we can plan for ourselves. You know, you would think I was talking about this coming election, but those words were spoken by Ronald Reagan in 1964, and they're as true today as they were then. My name is Don Barich, and if it's okay with you, I'd like to take just a few minutes to share with you a little bit about myself, my perspective on the federal government, and what we should do about it. I have deep roots in the Valley and in California. I am a native Californian and have lived in the Santa Clara Valley for over 38 years. I have been active all of my adult life in the community as a small businessman and a teacher. My family were children of immigrants to the U.S., and we were brought up with a strong belief in the goodness of our country, its people, a respect for its law and its institutions, and a belief that in this country, anything is possible if you're willing to work for it. I know what it takes to build and run a small business. I've spent my entire working career in small business. In the late 90s, I started my own company from the ground up, and I'm all too aware of the pressures faced by small business to get capital, make a payroll, and comply with government regulations, all the while, and I'm going to say a bad word here, all the while providing a product or a service for a profit. Over my lifetime in the Valley, I've had the opportunity to work with people from all walks of life, to understand from them the many concerns and struggles that we all share. I believe that there is no problem that we as a people cannot solve if we apply ourselves to the source of that problem. I have always had strong political opinions. Take my word for it, I've put a damper on quite a few backyard barbecues. But the arrival of the liberal left in power in Washington on the heels of the economic meltdown has fundamentally changed things for me. I cannot sit by and watch the country and the people that I love be sold down the river for a batch of resuscitated, barely breathing, 70s radical utopian dreams. I'm running because our country's future is being spent down the drain, and our personal liberties and freedom seem to be under constant attack. Our current representative, Mike Honda, has been scored as one of the more far-left progressives in Congress, and his voting record proves it. He's for big government, higher taxes, and an anti-business environment. He's against enforcing drug use laws, gun owner rights, and an extension of the Bush tax cuts. The National Taxpayer Union gives Mike a score of 24 out of 100, indicating a preference for higher and progressive taxes. He's for more federal spending on health care, less spending on the armed forces, and a soft stance on illegal immigration. It is irresponsible to saddle future generations with huge deficits and programs that cater to special interests. Mike Honda has been part of the free spending Congress that has pushed our national deficit to $12 trillion. In 2009, it spent $1.8 trillion more than it took in. The interest on that debt is $26 billion a month, $300 billion a year. And that's just the interest. And where does that money go? Does that money go to hire more teachers, build more schools, improve the roads, or strengthen national defense? No. That money goes to countries like Saudi Arabia and China, a country that we're financing to become the next superpower. 1 minute. Where will that money come from? That money is taken from our homes and businesses, money that is spent by all-knowing bureaucrats in Washington, money that would be better spent by individuals, families, and business. I understand the struggles of small business. They are the very backbone of our economy, creating 2/3 of all jobs. In our current economic disaster, the private sector has continued to shed jobs, and unemployment is over 10%. Public sector jobs have increased at the rate of 10,000 jobs a month. All this while Ask Me, a liberal labor organization, has given Mike Honda a score of 100% for his voting record on their behalf. Our families are bearing the brunt of this mess through job losses, pay cuts, and reduced hours, while the ranks of government employees continue to increase and earn raises. Thanks a lot, Mike. What was once a private sector is changing to one where more citizens and non-citizens are on the government dole and the government regulates every aspect of our lives. It is time to limit federal government and reduce the spending. We need to lower taxes, retire the debt, and have government get out of the way of business. Is the red card mean really good? Our country was built through expansion, physical, industrial, and commercial expansion. Our ancestors had fought and died for the protection of that right, and as a result, we are a nation that is first in the race for technology, the only country to put a man on the moon, and a shining beacon of freedom and opportunity throughout the world. Throughout it all, we have maintained a tradition of limited government and full exercise of our freedoms as individuals to account for our own lives. It is part of the American creed that each generation should hand down to the next not only a better America, but an improved economic, educational, and social status. Today, most Americans believe that government programs actually hinder their quest to achieve the American dream. The time has come to create a better America for the next generation. Once the soundest country in the world, we have become a debtor nation. Today we are under a tyranny of excessive power, excessive intrusion, and excessive amounts of money poorly spent. I believe that our politicians of today have gotten too far from the intent of the founding principles in regards to public service and a citizen legislature. It is time to restore our country to its founding principles. I'm in favor of term limits at the federal level, enforcement of our existing immigration laws and a secure border, private property rights, support for the Second Amendment, a strong national defense, and the belief that every individual has the right to succeed or fail based on their own merits. If you're like me and you're an optimistic patriot with a passion for freedom, the dignity and rights of every person, born and unborn, and a distrust of government's interference in people's lives, I ask you to support me in removing the liberal, progressive Mike Honda from office and replacing him with a fiscal conservative who believes in the people and not the government. Thank you so much for your time. God bless you, and God bless the United States of America. Thank you. Thank you.
That was a rousing. Thank you very much, Tom.